Hello everyone! Today we're going to revisit the topic of being fat and gay. Why? Well, I posted a video on this topic about a year ago, and I was arguably fat when I posted it, and clearly I was still gay. In case you haven't been paying attention, that guy that I live with is my boyfriend. We are not Bert and Ernie. So, I would describe myself at the moment as, I would say, skinny fat. I've heard that kind of thrown around. So I went searching for like a good working kind of definition of how I would describe my body now, saying I'm not obese anymore, and I actually don't qualify as overweight. I'm like 3 pounds underneath that, so I'm at a healthy weight at the high end of that. So what I ran across, which is interesting because I'm titling the video "Fat and Gay," is something called gayfat. I went on Urban Dictionary, which if you want the real meaning of a word, you go there, Webster's. And this is what I was able to come up with. Gayfat. A gay man who does not have a gym-perfect body, but rather carries a body fat percentage in the 12 to 20% range. A man who is considered gay fat within the community would likely be considered athletic, physically fit, and in shape within the greater cultural context. I would take exception with a little of that, but mostly. This was the second definition. Gay fat is a term used to describe a man that's not really fat or skinny, however, when he's gay fat, he's too fat to be accepted in the male gay community. And he's skinny, but fat or droopy in all the wrong places, such as nipples, abdomen area, etc. Show of hands. So, I've had that body shape over and over, and the last time I talked about being fat and gay, I talked about the times I was fat, and a couple periods of being underweight or average in between. The shape of my body when I wasn't obese was never athletic. I've never really been athletic, even though there's been times I worked out hard, I was not. A muscly, kind of guy. Lean, it might look that way in clothes. But, so I started this journey being like closer to 300 pounds than not. I was about 270 something. Channel started, I was like 230 pounds. So you're not going to see a hugely obese man if you dig back a few videos. But with my weight coming down, the skin started to loosen again and loosen. There's another video on loose skin where I get a little scantily clad, and you can kind of see that, that too. But is this really any better? Am I any more comfortable in my body? When I was out and about in the community, when I was younger, and arguably more insecure, not that we're, going to Ibiza, to a nude beach right now, but I'm a little more confident than I, would have been at 20 or 18. I mean, who isn't? I really made an effort to hide what was left of my body underneath. And what I'm talking about, to call by name, is extra skin. Extra skin in my chest, extra skin in my stomach, and a little bit in my back. So, trying to conceal all that and hide all that, I felt like I was, like catfishing people when I would go out. I would squeeze my thin but sagging body into like a really tight wife beater. I had no idea compression shirts existed at the time, or I would have so been wearing them. Shove everything in, pull a t-shirt over the top of it, tuck the wife beater in, pull the pants up that are really tight so it holds the thighs up, and then don't bend over because if everything will snap out of place, and then, all my rolls will fall out. Because it's not just enough to be thin. You have to be toned, and you have to be, lean and lithe, and that wasn't me. I was in the right weight range to be, I guess, a twink. For those of you who aren't familiar with gay jargon, twinks are kind of the little younger looking, pretty, probably hairless, jailbait looking boys. And I was, close to that age at the time, so that's what the look I was going for. And I was just really, it just wasn't for me because I didn't have the body type for it. And then, I guess this is all hypothetical now because I'm in a relationship, but certainly I feel like people, I'm older now, so I do care less about what people think. Not as little as I would like. I wish I cared much less, but I care less. Uh, but get attraction from people. I can kind of tell now being thinner, after having been almost 100 pounds overweight for the last 6, 7 years, 6, 7, 8 years, maybe, that people do treat me differently now that I'm smaller. People are more friendly. Cashiers are nicer. People say hello when I'm just walking down the street. Um, there's the cat. He's not more friendly. He got some shit against me, I think. But uh, coworkers treat you differently. Siblings do. And I would imagine if I were out and about in the community, I would garner more attention. The last time I was out and about in the social scene, I was probably still living in Philadelphia because we have but 2 gay bars in the region, and I think the same dozen people go to both of them. So when I was out and about being social there, right before I came home, this was, a little over 10 years ago, I had gained weight then, and I was a little heavier then than I was now, but not much. And you'd think I was 300 pounds walking into a bar. I was just, I mean, people part the waves, and I didn't realize how small everybody else was until I realized I was a little bigger than average. And it was like, you think I cruised in on a jazzy or something like that. So, I don't know. It was kind of a shallow-ish part of the culture, but I definitely felt like I was left out. And what's weird now is that I would still feel left out. I I can't fathom myself taking like my shirt off at the beach or um, going to a water park. Oh, forget it. Public pool. And it wouldn't matter if it was with family or friends or strangers. Sometimes people have the attitude of like, oh, I'm out of town. I'll never see these people again. I just, not quite there yet. Uh, I will get there, I'm sure, but we're not there yet. Just as well, it's going to be fall because I can just wear sweaters until next summer. So I made a few notes. Let me take a quick look and see if I missed something over here. Loose skin is just to put it out there. I nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. And let me say, I had something of a sheltered childhood. So when I came out, like way out. And I certainly socially made up for lost time. And the fact that I used to enjoy a drink or seven made me that much more social. I wouldn't throw the word slut around casually, but I enjoyed the company of gentlemen. I did. And nobody who I had ever either got with casually or was in a relationship ever said, I really like your extra skin. Now, there's people out there that have fetishes for things. They have a fat fetish. Maybe they like someone who's underweight, different body types, body hair, things like that. I've never encountered someone, and for how many people I went through, you think I would have met one who had a fetish for loose skin. Not one. They're either polite and say nothing, um, or they tell you straight up they just don't like it and they think it's gross. I had 2 people I was in a relationship with who told me they thought it was gross, um, and made like really hurtful comments about it. And it was kind of like, well, it's not something I can really do anything about, but except find someone who just accepts me for the way I look, and if the way I look changes, they'll accept that too. And I think I found that, so I think I'm on pretty good ground right now. But it wasn't always that way. And being kind of skinny fat or gay fat now, I was chatting with Mark today about how you start to feel I couldn't tell is, do I feel better about myself so people are more friendly to me, or is it a shallow world and because I'm thinner people are nicer? I don't really know about that. I do know that if a guy starts flirting with me now, it's which hasn't happened in forever, you know, because as I said in a previous video, there wasn't a big market for 300-pound bulimic chain smoking alcoholics. There's not. And you know, at this point, if someone was going to flirt with me, I'd be extremely flattered. You know, I've been with Mark for 4 years. I'm not not interested in starting another relationship or ending this one at all. But when your partner says you're attractive and you've been together, like Mark and I have been, it's almost like your mom saying you're cool. You know, it's to have somebody else with no interest in you other than something probably shallow and cheap says you're cute. For some reason that seems to mean something. It probably shouldn't. It's probably, you know, betraying a huge amount of insecurity on my part, but nevertheless, it does something. So those were my thoughts on where my body is at and what kind of attention it would garner and has garnered. Like I said, in the last fat video, I talked about how being overweight influenced my different relationships and how being underweight did as well. But this is the body I've had. And the body that has been shaped like this before, with the lower hanging skin and, you know, some bones stick out, but by and large there's stuff hanging that I would need to hide in order to feel like I look normal. So I had reflected on different periods of my life where that was the case. My body's shaped like that, and how did that feel? You know, how did that look, and how are things different now? And like I said, some of it's hypothetical because I'm in a relationship. I'm not out in the clubs trying to tuck my stomach into my junk just so I can have a flat tummy. But it did make me think. So thanks for letting me share my thoughts with you. Please subscribe, get the alerts, and I'll catch up with y'all soon. Bye.